Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Top Flight Pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. We're back in studio today. Beautiful Austin, Texas. We got the boys in studio today, of course. We got Bali here to my right. We got Verde Nation, Logan here to my left. Off screen, controlling the ones and twos, we have my GB on the roadcaster doing all the production. And then in the side table, we got the one, the only, El Doctor Alex Sanabria here joining us in studio, ready to talk about this very, very interesting and devastating defeat. Austin FC 3-0 against Minnesota. Took the L, and of course, some other European topics that we will get into in the second part of the podcast. Bali, how are you doing, mate?
Well, I mean, very, very disappointed. Very, very sad. A sad morning, honestly. Sad, depressing morning.
Sad night?
Sad night. Everything, it's just been very, very hard. Very, very hard for me and the fan base, honestly.
Logan, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all I can say is I'm blessed, man. Happy to be here. Definitely not the result we ever want to see, but yeah, got a lot to get into.
Definitely. B, welcome, mate. How are you doing?
The same. I mean, happy to be here as always with you boys to talk about the game, but it's dire times right now. It's
And
bad.
last but not least, my G Alex, welcome to the show, brother. You got to see the emotions of the locker room. We'll talk about that here in a bit, but how are you doing today?
Not too good. Again, after last night, can't say it was a good night, and I'm a little bit worried, honestly. I mean, tough game. Team didn't look that great, and then you also have a game quickly on Wednesday for the cup, and you just there's nothing that for you to be excited about how this team is going to perform on Wednesday.
I agree with that, mate. It's going to be a very interesting week for Austin FC. The midweek game that's coming up is going to be a big storyline, especially it's very important to know that El Paso did win their game last night 3-0. Austin FC lost their game last night 0-3 or 3-0, however you want to call it. So that's going to be very interesting going into that midweek Open Cup match. But we start off with a tweet from Mr. Adrian Healy. He says that his concern level is elevated. Very little chemistry. Honestly, it was men versus boys out there for a lot of the night. One team was cohesive, quicker, better thinkers, and better passers, and it wasn't Austin FC. Those big transfer fees are weighing very heavily. And with that, we can get into our general thoughts of the match last night. Austin falls to Minnesota. Bali, what are your general thoughts on this match?
Well, very, very, very disappointed. Sad with the result. And just, mistakes all around. Stuver mistake, Heinzak mistake, defense mistake. Mistakes all over. And just unfortunate. We expect so much more from this team. We expect goals. We expect a better performance. And just the fact that we're getting no goals and just embarrassing results at home is just hurting. Very, very hurting. I think Adrian Healy hit it on the mark. I think that's spot on. It was men against boys last night, and it was clear to see.
Now, it has been 10 goals conceded and only 2 goals scored in the last 4 games for Austin FC. It is unacceptable. Maybe folks can say it's cherry picking. Why don't you say 5 games or whatnot? But just that number, 10 goals conceded and only 2 scored in the last 4 games, I mean, that's just, like I said, unacceptable. But Logan, general thoughts on the match last night. Austin FC falls to Minnesota.
Yeah, and like you're saying, the sample size is just getting bigger. In the beginning, it's kind of like, okay, we haven't really get to see too much from this, but I don't know. I can think of it both ways. It's really early in the season. Season's very long, right? I just feel like we're at the point where kind of running out of excuses, right? Running out of different ways to look at it, hearing kind of the same things. But overall, I agree with Bali, man. Just disappointed, just definitely heartbreaking. At home, you never... You know what I mean? You never want to have to have somebody come in here and put in work like that on your field. But no, overall, just looked lost, confused. So, yeah, definitely ready to kind of dissect it a little bit more.
Now, some comments from social media here. We had David R. Rojas post the comments on the full-time edit on Instagram. David said, losing by 3 at home is unacceptable. I hope these guys start playing with passion like you see in the stands from the supporters. Let's figure it out, gentlemen. Please. Mr. J. Torres says, so far, what Rodo cooked in the offseason is bland and dry. Isco the IV says, fraud alert should be going off at Precourt and Rodo's offices. And then Aimless Friend, shout out to my J. Jordan, he says, I've never seen this team play worse in a league match. My God, they were bad at everything. Even the simplest, most fundamental stuff that U12 Academy players are supposed to know. I mean, the fan base leaving Q2 Stadium last night was absolutely fired up. They were livid. They were not having it. And just before we get into some more, specific topics of the match, I want to get B's thoughts on just the atmosphere leaving Q2 last night, because you captured the fan reactions. What was that like yesterday leaving Q2?
Well, I mean, obviously everybody was upset, like really, really upset. And to be honest, I saw fans leaving early at the game. Like you could see the stairs to go out of it was like a line to leave. Like I'm telling you.
You don't think they were getting beer? Maybe restroom?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right, Hernan. Yeah, right, Hernan.
I'm kidding.
I also walked with them outside. I have a video. They were leaving. Just a horrible, horrible night overall. I mean, look. The Murga did their thing, as always. You know, they were loud, supporting the club, but just the vibe around the stadium was down. I mean, that's like Stuart's mistake changed the game, brother, I think.
Yeah, it did.
Now, the match did start with a little bit of a positive note. The U15 Academy players, they were honored with their coach on the field there before the game. They were celebrating their second Copa Rayados International Trophy. We posted a reel, and it's on our Instagram. You can check it out. But, you know, it started off on a positive note. We had the typical Alex and Salomón banger video, you know, talking about the match, previewing the lineup. And then, you know, the game started. And we can get into the match in more structured conversation. Now, the first probably couple of minutes, Austin FC was dominating the game, I would say. They looked like the better team. They had the ball more of the match. I believe in the first couple of minutes, they were already up 85% on possession. I mean, this showed good signs, right? There was a chance by Bukhari that was created. He doesn't really get a good hit on it. He wafts it, and it goes into the stands. Then you get the Brad Stuver mistake, which we can take a moment to talk about here right now. And I want to get Alex's take on it here first. He later on, post-match, tells you that this is probably the biggest mistake of his career. He says that it changed the dynamics of the match. So getting into that goal that Minnesota scored first, the mistake that Brad Stuver committed, what is your thoughts on it, mate?
Well, for one, I didn't expect for him to say that it was the biggest mistake in his career. I mean, I think that's a pretty big take, right? It may be because we know we've had mistakes in the past as every goalkeeper, but I guess last night was pretty bad.
Right.
And then what caught my attention was that he said that because of that one goal, the rest of the game went the way it went. Right. Because of that first goal, it's that Minnesota scored the second and the third. And to me, that tells me that, well, for one, Stuver obviously feels extremely responsible for it. Mm-hmm. But two, it's a lot of weight for you to carry after the game into the locker room.
Correct.
That means that Stuver had that weight on him, that blame on him the entire game. And I feel like he maybe wasn't able to get in the right mindset of, you know, I'm gonna do my best now in the rest of the game.
Right.
I don't think the other two goals were really on him. I think that's just, you know, the way the plays went, right? Mm-hmm. And the banger goal that Minnesota scored. But
which
it tells
came
you
from a mistake at the back.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Exactly, at the back, but not from him precisely, right? But what I'm saying is like him carrying this blame on him. It's heavy on your mentality, and not on him, but on the rest of the team.
Now, let me add this. Brad Stuver, he says on Instagram, you know, we knew that this was coming. We knew that this post was going to hit social media this morning. I kind of previewed it on the space that we had last night. And, Bali, I'll get your take on Brad Stuver after this. Stuver says on Instagram, my mistake changed the course of the game, and I was not up to my own standards. Thank you to the fans for always showing love. Turn our attention now to the Open Cup and another chance to chase a trophy. Bali, your thoughts on Brad Stuver last night? This is a guy that saves the club week in and week out, but he has these mistakes in him, and this was probably the worst of them all, but he owned it. He said this was the worst one of his career. Thoughts on Brad Stuver?
Well, he had to. He had to own up to it. You know, it was a horrible mistake. You know, and it's always a mistake with Brad. You know, not just last night.
It's not always a mistake
something.
with Brad.
You know, it's always every season. It's always here and there, here. It's always something with Brad. You know what? Like, and you know, and I appreciate. You know, this is who he is. You know, he's a man, and he respects the fan base, and he comes out, he apologizes, and we appreciate that. You know, of course, but always a mistake with him, and it's always something. And I feel like this should be a reflection, and hopefully we don't see it again. And hopefully we see a better performance by Brad. But the fan base was mad and upset, And they were calling for our backup last night.
On that, yes, Bali, thank you for mentioning that because I wanted to mention that right now.
For our backup last
on
night.
the space last night, on the Twitter space, and we're going to have that uploaded as a podcast for those that don't have that social media platform. But there was folks that were so livid last night that re-downloaded X/Twitter just to get on the space. There were folks that were getting in there saying, yo, I just want to let it be known that I deleted this app because I don't like the person that owns this platform. So I just wanted to come back and drop my take because I knew that this space was going to be going on. So that's how powerful these spaces can be, right? That's how powerful they can be. And folks on space were asking for Stefan Cleveland last night to start over Brad Stuver. Now, you're going to get that in the Open Cup, but that doesn't mean that you're getting what you wanted based off of the protest that you're making on the space. This was a plan that was probably already in motion from Coach Estévez and whatnot, right? But fans on spaces calling for Stefan Cleveland. Logan, your take on that, and then after I'll read some opinions from the fans on Brad Stuver's quote that we posted on social media.
Yeah, it's unfortunate kind of going back to Stuver because, I mean, his mistakes, you know, they happen just like every other player's, but they just cost more, you know what I mean? And when his happen, it makes it, you know, definitely a lot more pressure, a lot more. But the reality is, you know, all these players are making mistakes, but I agree. I don't know about necessarily calling for Cleveland to start over him, or, you know, I know that we have Open Cup, so, you know, maybe we may see that rotation. But I definitely think the run of form that we're in, you know, we just need to be as full strength as we could be. And Stuver's still been saving us. Like you said, there's no denying that as well. I think he had 5 saves in this game. Like
after that mistake, he actually had a pretty nice save.
Yeah, I don't
stretch.
think we can, you know, necessarily count him out or just say, oh, you know, it's enough. But it definitely hurts to see one 100%. Through the legs. Like, you know, it's kind of like
not just through the legs, like, through the hands, through the legs.
It's unfortunate. You know, that shouldn't happen. Like I agree with Bali. Like it should never happen again. You know what I mean? But
that happens to 7-year-olds. It happens to 8-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But calling for Cleveland, you know what I mean? We just gotta continue to just do what we can to be as full strength as possible.
Before I read some of these comments on IG, any thoughts on the fact that Stefan Cleveland was brought up in the space last night?
I'm not surprised that our fan base brought up.
That's fair.
Definitely not surprised, but
it's not crazy either.
No.
It kind of is.
It's not crazy.
It kind of is.
But who is Stuver? Why do people? Stuver like he's some type of god or something that he can get dropped too? Why not drop Stuver?
Yeah.
Why not? Who is he?
Because
he is
he's nobody to us. Just another player. He is the best player on your team. He is your captain. He is your leader of this team. He is the captain of this team.
Actually,
he is the captain of this team. And the fact that people are calling for Stuver to be benched is absolutely ridiculous to me at this point, man. After everything that he's done, people want to bench Stuver because everybody can be benched. I get that argument. This is Stuver we're talking about, man.
I would love to see Damon.
Also, bro, like one of the best way to just destroy a player's confidence and just kill him is by put him in on the bench the next game after doing that, bro. You got to get that past him. Now, it's unfortunate because, like you said, Cleveland was already maybe thought to be brought on. But if I was Nico, I'd put Stuver out there. I'd go strong lineup, bro.
Now, we'll talk about the lineup and some of the comments that Nico dropped, but we have here on IG some comments from IG. Bayern Koi TX says, maybe it doesn't, on Stuver's quote, they say, maybe, but it doesn't excuse our back three from their incompetence in marking men and leaving the goal wide open twice. Channel_111 says, definitely his mistake, but the attitude after that of the team isn't his fault. The coaching staff and captain should lift everyone back up and get back in the match. We love you, Stu. And then Olitak, she says, I still have so much love and respect for Stu. Shit happens. And pretty much a lot of support in the comments here. Really, not that many people calling for Stuver except Shoekeeper. He says, he's booty. We need another keeper. But so some folks, you know, they see that Stuver is not bulletproof. But this is a guy that deserves respect from the fan base.
I mean, people were calling for him as an all-star. You must be joking.
Oh
you must be joking.
One mistake.
You must be joking. You must be joking.
It is a silly mistake. It is
goalkeeper.
A silly mistake, but one mistake so far made
I'm
like
telling
that.
you, that's not an all-star goalkeeper.
All right.
Sorry.
Bro, look, I know Stuver cost us the first goal, but without Stu, we would have lost like 5-6, bro.
I mean, of course,
It would have been a way like
saves.
with the error that cost to a goal. Without him, we can see 2 more, bro.
100%. 100%. Alex, any thoughts on Mr. Brad Stuver?
No, I agree. I mean, whenever that happened, obviously we were all surprised in the press box, right? And like Salomón and I were commenting that Stuver, he has mistakes in him, but he probably has like one mistake in every 4 games, every 5 games, and he's the hero in a lot of the rest of the games.
Yep.
So overall, yeah, dropping him for one big mistake, but one mistake is not realistic.
Everybody at home that's listening to this podcast, get your shot glass ready. I'm about to make a Real Madrid comparison. You know who this has happened to? Keylor Navas. I was watching the game when this happened exactly to Keylor Navas. So if it happens to somebody at that level, why can't it happen to Stu? Why can it happen? And it's one mistake. What I'm going to judge this guy on is how he gets back up off of this.
Bro,
I'm going to judge him on that.
These mistakes happen in the World Cup, bro. I mean, it goes to the highest level. It's like a
I said that on the Spaces last night. When I was a kid, I remember England. I believe it was in 2006.
I know exactly what.
Remember when that goalkeeper
Green.
disappeared after Green?
Yeah,
exactly. Bro, Beckham looked pissed on the bench because he was injured that World Cup.
Dempsey that shot it.
Yes, yeah. That happened at the World Cup. That's exactly what I said on the Spaces last night. Wait,
hey,
good stuff.
Hey,
good
I'm
stuff.
just bringing that up.
All right, guys. Any other comments on Mr. Brad Stuver before we move on to some other topics? We're good? All righty. Now, Alex also spoke with Mr. Brandon Vázquez post-match. He said, quote, "We need to be more decisive at the end. We are getting opportunities, but we are not finishing well." And obviously, one of the big narratives going into this match, well, after leaving this match, is the fact that the goals are simply not coming, right? So I wanted to ask you guys, in general, who do you think this blame falls onto? Is it more of a coaching problem? Is it on the players that aren't, maybe focused in the training? But where does the blame fall? Alex, if I can get your thoughts first, mate.
I think the blame falls in a little bit on everyone. Because, again, we've had so many chances in so many games where it's only the finishing that's lacking. I mean, the goal was right there. And it's just the finishing, and that's on the players, right, for not finishing. But also at the same time, I feel like we have players that have different characteristics, and by trying to fit them all into one system, you don't get the best out of all of them. The Uzuni that we've seen that played in Granada is not the same that we've seen playing with Austin. Brandon Vázquez, also the one that we know that can score goals in Cincinnati and in Monterrey, is not the one that we're seeing right now. And I don't doubt that they want to work, because you see Uzuni and you see Brandon Vázquez, and they're giving it all on the field, but it's just not working for them. And whenever they do get a chance, at the same time they are also not performing when they have to.
Yeah.
Now, Mirto Uzuni and Bukari were subbed off at the 61st minute together, a double substitution, and kind of, mixing in the line of conversation to this topic that we're on right now, the topic of the blame or whatnot, Bali. I also want to throw in there the fact that Austin FC missed Dani Pereira last night. There's no other way to look at it, in my opinion. I had a very heated exchange with Ozzy this morning about the influence and the importance that Dani Pereira has in this midfield. And it's tough because for the month of May, we're not going to have Dani, and it is the worst month to not have a guy like him. And Ozzy was saying that if we see Dani Pereira as our best midfielder, then it means that we are cooked. But I don't think he's necessarily the best midfielder, except that he makes the midfield click. And if you lose the midfield, you're not in control of any game. And last night against Minnesota, the midfield had no type of control whatsoever. The ball was flowing. Austin FC had possession, but it was always just bringing the ball up to the midfield, and then we would lose it in the final third. Bali, where do you put this blame last night? We hear words from Brandon Vázquez about how the attack is not clicking. Robert Taylor also got in on it. We'll get his quote after. But do you agree with me that Dani Pereira is probably one of the reasons why Austin FC maybe had a bit of a struggle last night?
Oh, yeah, we're going to struggle without Dani for sure. We're going to miss a player like him. But the blame, for me, it's 100% on Nico. No doubt about it. No doubt. And I'm also looking at Rodo because they're the ones that picked these players. They're the ones that went, scouted them out, picked them out. These are the guys who we want. Nico's the guy who's putting them in the position that he wants to put them. Nico needs to put these players in a position where they're going to be successful, where they're going to flourish, they're going to score, they're going to go off. We're struggling all around. So I feel like this is 100% the blame is on Nico. But also the players need to take a good look at themselves in the mirror.
So, question for you. Is it Nico, and we talked about this on Space, on the podcast here today, and I want to get everybody's maybe thoughts on this as well. I don't want to go back to Stuver, but is it Nico's fault that Stuver commits something like that? You think that's in Nico's game plan?
No.
So how is it 100%?
I'm saying, okay, that's Stuver's mistake, of course.
So it can't be 100% on Nico?
No. But I'm telling you all around. I'm telling you, we're talking about goals right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about goals.
100%.
We're talking about goals. Our forwards are not scoring. Our DPs are not clicking.
Correct.
So that's 100% on Nico. Stuver's mistake is 100% on him, and that's his mistake, and that's on him. We need to score. We're not scoring. We're dead out there. Our forwards are dead out there. You know, Usuni. I mean, Bukhari. And we talked about this on the space last night. Bukhari. You know? And Usuni. 7 million. 12 million. And I told you this on the space. It's looking like 30 million down the drain. It's looking like it. It's looking like we just wasted 30 million.
Do you think it's still too early to push that line?
Bukhari
might still be too early.
Bukhari can't even lift his head up. The guy's looking down half of the time, moving his feet.
Actually, that's true.
You know, that's true.
Anything else?
And we paid 7 million for this guy from a Serbian league. Serbia. Let me repeat that for you. Serbia.
Red Star Belgrade. I know.
Serbia.
Red Star Belgrade.
Serbia.
I was there.
It's Serbian league better than MLS.
I don't think
100% no. 100% no. Usuni.
Granada, second
division from Spain. The guy was the best player in a bad league and the best player in a bad team. And he comes here and he puts his chest out. Oh, I'm here to break records. That's who I am. I'm here to break. I'm here to.
You don't
bring
want
us back.
that.
Of course, I want that
attitude. You don't want that kind of mindset.
But is he doing it?
Things just aren't clicking.
He had a shot last night, and he shot it at the goalkeeper, bro.
It was bad.
He shot it at the goalkeeper.
He tried to tap it.
Yes.
So what are we doing? What are we doing?
In the training ground, we have to be more focused. That's the only.
It looked like we didn't even train all week.
You know they did.
It looked like it. It looked like it.
You know that they did, though.
It was bad times, man. Bad times all around.
Now, Nico did come out in defense of his team. He was pretty much, just saying that imagine putting yourselves in the shoes of these players. And so the transfer fees, the money was called out in the press conference yesterday. And Nico said that just because some of these players make a lot of money doesn't mean that they cannot be humans, right? They cannot have anxiety. They cannot go through bad moments in their life. You can agree with that. You can disagree with that. But Logan, where are you at on pretty much the fact that Austin FC's offense is still lacking the goals? And of course, you have Usuni, Brandon Vázquez, and Bukhari. Bali, touched up on all of those three. The attack for Austin FC is still lacking. Where are you at with the blame? Is this an offensive issue or is this a coaching issue?
Yeah, man, it's a lot. I think I agree with Bali, though. It's not looking like it's going to pay off. You know, he's not wrong in saying that. Like, it's a long-term investment. Maybe it's too early to say, but the eyes are not lying to us. You know what I mean? It's not clicking. It's not like we can say, oh, yeah, it is clicking. You know, there is promise. We haven't, we can't see it. So it's not tangible. We can't, you know what I mean? But it does come down to more outside of the game itself. So when we're talking about training, Bali's saying it doesn't even look like they're training. What are they doing in training? What is the vibe like in training? What is it that's being, the things that we won't be able to see on a daily basis? I think Nico and them would argue we are getting into good spaces. We do have these opportunities. Mirto is right in front of goal. He does have an opportunity, rather than, okay, the players are not performing and the system is not working. We're not even getting opportunities. We're not even getting shots off. But instead, right now the focus is, okay, but for me, how it looks when we talk about pressure being on Nico and could potentially be his fault is I don't know what else is going on outside of, I don't know what the vibes are like, elsewhere, if he is the person that's really establishing this way that he wants to coach or, if he's the guy to make sure that the best are getting out of these players.
Now, before we go to some comments from Robert Taylor post-match in the locker room, Alex, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I actually have some comments on what Logan is saying about Nico. Like, I see the system, again, working in the sense that we do have opportunities, and again, it's the players not performing. But at the same time, I'm just seeing this great cloud over the entire team right now, or the entire roster, not only on the field, but also in the locker room. I talked to Brandon Vázquez yesterday, and he seemed so frustrated, and it feels like the weight of not scoring is just crushing him. Like, he wants to score and he needs to, but that motivation, instead of making him better and getting him closer to scoring, is just taking him farther away because he's not he doesn't know how to manage that pressure of not scoring, right? And it's not just that. Even Savovic Salvich, who we saw in preseason and then the first couple of games, that guy was amazing, and he came here to earn a spot, and he was competitive, and he was a beast. We all saw it, and we all got excited about it. But then in the last couple of games, I feel like his level has gone down a little bit. His competitiveness has gone down a little bit. I don't know if he feels like maybe MLS is not that stressful, or you don't need to be on your top game all the time, and he relaxed a little bit. But he's not the same guy that we saw when we first signed him. So to me, one part that may fall on Nico is the mentality that this team needs, and the attitude that they need. Because again, you can see that they want to win, but there's something mentally that is not clicking. Yeah. And I don't know if just chemistry between the players, between all of them, but also what their mindset is, because they want to win, but they just don't know how to.
Bali, anything you want to follow up on
that? Doctor, that's why I love you, bro. Because he's spot on. The mentality. Nico needs to give these players a motivation. He needs to motivate these players. Last night on the space, you said, and again in the Houston game, you said these players maybe they don't feel like this is a derby. They don't feel what we feel. Nico knows what it feels. He coached Dallas. He should have told these players, this is what this game means for the fan base.
And I didn't like how Nico downplayed it.
And what do you say? Another game.
Just another game.
And it's hurtful, bro. It's very, very hurtful, bro. And I'm not taking it kindly, bro. I'm really not, bro. I'm not, bro.
Now, Robert Taylor, he says, sometimes teams go through dry spells. We have to keep going. We have to keep trying. We have to train and get some finishing in. He also gives pretty much some praise to the fans. He says that even when Austin was losing 2-0 for most of the game, the fans were loud, screaming, and encouraging, almost like the 12th player, as they say. Some folks on the space last night, they were saying that maybe sometimes La Murga needs to be quiet, needs to be silent based off of the situations in the game.
Yeah.
It's a rabbit hole to go down, mate. I've heard many sides of that conversation, but here you have a player saying it point blank, saying that it helps them. It helps them move forward in the game. But any thoughts on what Robert Taylor says?
You have goals going in, and the fan base is cheering, bro. They're destroying us on the field. They're destroying us on the field, and we're throwing beer around. We're celebrating like we scored.
That's crazy.
What are we doing?
Bro, we've been
What
here
are we
before,
doing?
Brother. We've been here.
No, but honestly, what are we doing now?
What
are we doing now?
We've been here
What are we
before,
doing now? Honestly, if we was to stay quiet or whistle, that would speak volumes to these players.
When something happens, is what you're saying. They score a goal.
Yeah, that alone would be, oh my God. Yeah, we're getting destroyed, man.
I've heard people be confused.
But we're celebrating.
I've heard people be confused during the situation. So when the opposing side has scored a goal and the supporter section has been very, I guess they're not celebrating, but they are caught in the middle of a beer shower. Bad timing.
If they were to scoring, we were to whistle or just stay quiet, that would speak volumes to the players. They would know that, you know what, we're and that would kick them up the butt and motivate them.
No, definitely, mate, definitely. Now. Let's see here. Some other things that we have on the notes. Of course, we had Brandon Vázquez's words to the media after the match. We talked about what Stuver said, Robert Taylor. Nico Estévez post-match, he gets very defensive, I would say, of his players. He comes out and, like I said, he says that put yourself in these players' shoes, that they are humans as well. And I feel like this was one of the most spiciest press conferences we've had this whole season. I don't know if you guys thought the same way. I feel like there was a different element of pressure that was added to every question that was asked by everybody out there. But any thoughts, Alex?
I thought it was a little bit weird. I mean, I understand a coach is always going to defend their players, right? And I understand Nico's position. And I understood the message that Nico wanted to give. But I don't think that losing 3-0 at home, it's the right moment for you to say, people think that the players are not human, doesn't matter how much they earn. I mean, there are fans that definitely say the wrong things, but I think overall, yeah, of course they're humans, but when the team when they get scored on and every single person in the team, they have their head down, looking at the ground, not saying, let's get it. Let's go. They scored, it doesn't matter. Let's get it. We are aggressive. But instead they are like, oh, okay, well, let's see what we can do. it hits you as a fan to see that reaction in your team. I know we saw Ilya trying to get the players together and motivate them and yell at them. They go into this inner circle and Ilya told them something. But then the full reaction immediately, because they came out in the second half differently, but immediately it's not the reaction that you would expect when you're playing at home and you just got scored on.
Definitely, mate. Now, Logan, anything that you want to add on before I kind of transition into the game that is coming up?
Yeah, I mean, hearing from Robert Taylor, I mean, just being able to be in the locker room, too, just to have those conversations. Robert Taylor is somebody who was his debut with the club last night. We get to see a little bit of him. So when we're talking about kind of, I don't know, just potential overall, obviously that is an added piece. But we also have to keep in mind he's coming from, stadiums where they're packed because, maybe because Messi, playing with Miami in those big moments. So for him to talk about how that maybe helps him from coming from Q2, I don't know. I can see both sides of kind of, celebrating or music and stuff like that. But I feel like hopefully we just get to see more out of Robert Taylor and, maybe even in the midfield.
Now, let's talk about Robert Taylor and Jáder Obrian because they were some of the, and also Rubio, they were the moves that were made by Coach Nico to, try to save the match or whatnot. And then we have the Open Cup game that's coming up midweek against El Paso, the Locomotive, which won their game 3-0 last night. As we mentioned, Diego Valencia was there scouting that team for us. Shout out to my G Diego. And I want to, mention Robert Taylor, Jáder Obrian in this conversation because it seems to me, gentlemen, that last night, after these players were brought onto the field, the game changed a bit. Austin was a bit more dangerous. They were more dynamic. There was chances that were being created. And I want to ask you guys, what you guys think of Robert Taylor's debut, and if you want to see more of Jáder Obrian right now that Bukhari is at such a low level. Bali.
Yeah, I want to see more of both of those players. I feel like they'll give us something different, just different faces out there on the field. But will we? I mean, are they going to start? I feel like he's sticking to this 11, Nico, and I don't think he's going to tweak it much.
Nico said that in the month of May, the best team will start.
Yeah.
That's what he's been saying. So that's his answer to, is there going to be any rotation? Is there going to be a mix of players? Is there going to be a B team? All he's saying is that the best players are going to be starting for Austin FC. The best team possible.
Well, he for sure is going to rotate. He's for sure going to have to rotate.
He has to.
And then if anybody picks up a knock or something, then there'll be rotation. But I for sure want to see more of Taylor and Obrian. I feel like they'll bring a different face to us and they'll help us out.
I feel like they had a little bit of hunger when they came on.
They have to. They have to. They didn't start. So that alone should just make you hungrier to prove yourself.
Logan, any thoughts on Jáder, Taylor? They came on and they brought a different shift.
Yeah, no, it's going to be inevitable. I mean, we're going to have to rotate. We're going to see these players play. But, yeah, Robert Taylor, I think we have a lot of hopes for him. He came in, didn't have a whole bunch of time to do something. But, no, I agree. If it's really going to be the best out there, it kind of goes back to what you were saying. Like, does this mean that we have a quote-unquote locked 11? Like, is it good that we're able to kind of predict this night in, night out? But, no, I mean, he's going to have to rotate some people with Danny being out, midfield not necessarily being thin, but, like, maybe Robert Taylor. We see him. He presents himself as winger/midfielder. It's like almost like it's kind of totally described like that. So, I mean, we know we're going to use him there, so we'll see more out of him, especially with these upcoming
just like Nico
busy
said,
schedule.
Nico said it best. He's like, it's impossible for everybody to play every single minute in this month coming up. So,
yeah.
But now, Alex, I wanted to get your take on Robert Taylor's debut. You got his words on his first time at Q2 Stadium. He gave a shout to the fans and the noise, right? But what'd you think about him on the field, on the pitch, and also mixing in Jáder in there? You think that these two players are going to maybe be the answer for a possible win midweek?
I wouldn't like people to look at them as the solution, the key, right?
But we need a solution.
But I think Robert Taylor he was very good when he came on. I think he was direct. And I think that's the key. I think he was directly influential. He went straight to attack, and he didn't have to, do many, what do you call it? He didn't delay his attack. He just wanted to run, cross, or if he could, shoot. And I think that's what this team is missing. I think Jáder also brings a little bit of that, but he's more already, used to the Austin FC environment and tactics and everything. And Taylor, being so fresh, let's say, was able to pull off that directness that the team is usually lacking, right? I think that I would like to see him starting in the US Open Cup.
100%.
And I think I would bench Bukhari.
I agree.
And something that to me, Bukhari has had some moments where he let us down, right? But I think he has also shown that he can be influential when brought in as a sub. And I think, and this is Salomé's opinion, that he is a 45-minute player.
Yeah, she said. Yeah, she said.
And she said that Bukhari and Jáder are both 45-minute players, and that is not a bad thing because we have them both, so we can use them both. And if both can be influential off the bench, that's something good for us. So if you tell me that I could see Brandon Vázquez, Uzuni, and Taylor starting, and then bring someone quick and dangerous at times like Bukhari can be or like Jáder can be, I'm fine with that. So I think this U.S. Open Cup, it's a good moment for us to try something that's serious, because benching Bukhari doesn't mean that we're not taking the game seriously. No, on the contrary, I think it's a good example for us to try something different, something that might be what we're missing in the attack.
Now, B, I want to get your take real quick on the topic that we're on right now. Robert Taylor, Jáder Obrian, Open Cup is coming up. We're there week in, week out. If Austin crashes out of the first round against Los Locos, if the players think that the kitchen's getting hot, the stove's about to blow up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's already hot.
Some people think it's not.
No, it's already
Some
hot.
people think
The
it's
stove is blowing up, though, if we crash out. The stove is blowing up.
If Austin crashes out of this Open Cup first round, the stove is blowing up.
It's a gas fire. Like, we done.
That house in Georgetown. That's gonna. I don't want to say anything.
Basically, but that's what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Is Robert Taylor and Jáder Obrian a possible solution for this team coming up?
I mean, we need them to step up. When our DP isn't performing, we want someone to step up, and those are the options. Like, we're gonna have to have Jáder step up, Taylor step up, because Bukhari ain't cutting it. I mean, so are they gonna step up? I think we're gonna have to rotate. I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna rotate, and it's like so messed up that we are known. We have a thing about us. Very, very little history from us. But from what it is we crash out of competitions crazy, man. It's like becoming a trend. So we can't even be confident because we know we've seen the past. So crazy when we're like,
we don't have the best record.
We can never say, oh yeah, that's a dub. There's no way. There's no way anymore. So it's gonna be, I hope we can get it going. I hope we use that game as, something to get our spirits back up, drop some goals. But we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Now, Volley, any thoughts on the Open Cup match that is coming up? Austin FC faces El Paso, and I'm mentioning Robert Taylor. I'm mentioning Jáder Obrian because of the spark that they had off the bench. Rubio was also in that mix. It was a different Austin FC after those substitutions were made, in my opinion. I felt like the chances started to come. They were knocking on the door, although nothing was converted at the end of the day. But looking ahead, Open Cup, Robert Taylor, Jáder Obrian, you think that there's a W in there?
I hope so, but honestly, I fear this month. Honestly,
Ilya doesn't. Ilya said it's finally here.
I feel Ilya. Good luck, Ilya.
I'm with him. I'm with him, mate. But it is going to be a tough one. Go ahead.
But I fear this month. I feel it in my heart. I feel like we're going to struggle this month, and I see it. I see it getting worse. Honestly, I honestly see it getting worse, and I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong, but I see us keep struggling. I see us struggling getting goals. I see our defense struggle. And, man, I'm I'm not looking forward to this month. The only thing I'm looking forward is my birthday, honestly. But other than that, I'm not looking forward,
Now, speaking of, obviously, this month, we got the result that El Paso had last night, 3-0 against New Mexico United. A game where New Mexico United had 60% possession and Los Locos only had 40%. So they're a team that can score 3 goals without having majority possession of the ball. It's something to keep an eye out for Austin FC. And also another thing to keep an eye on is Cabrera Jr. with a hat trick from that guy, minute 12, minute 51, and minute 83. So a forward coming into this match in form for El Paso, something that Austin FC simply does not have. Now, this is a perfect moment for Uzuni to finally, get off the mark. For Brandon Vázquez to finally get some kind of, goal-scoring form going. This is the moment for these guys. This is the moment.
No, we for sure have to go all out. He has to put his best starting 11, and we have to win. We have to, if we want to win any trophies this year, this will be the one. Because we're not winning the MLS champion. We'll make playoffs. They're going to beat us in playoffs. There's teams way better than us in the league. Way better than us. We're not ready. We're not ready at all. So if we want to win anything, this will be it. And I want the U.S. Open. I really want this trophy. I feel like if I want to be champion, I want to win something. You know,
Definitely.
5 years with nothing.
Now, May games coming up. We have to talk about the ones that are coming up. We have Cincinnati. That game is coming up. Atlanta, Vancouver, and then Minnesota again, gentlemen. So it does not get easier for Austin FC. You got some top opponents coming to Q2, and also you have to travel. But Logan, how are you seeing this schedule for Austin? Because it's the mountain, it's the hill of the Open Cup. But after you get over that hill, you got a mountain of teams to climb over when we're talking about MLS. Cincinnati away, Atlanta at home, Vancouver home, Open Cup again midweek, Minnesota away, Real Salt Lake at home, and then San Diego away, and you can finally breathe at the end of the month of May. How are you seeing these matches coming up, brother?
Yeah, it's congested for sure. We get some Eastern Conference teams in there, and it's going to be a lot on the players, a lot of traveling, a lot of I think we have a couple of home games back to back, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, the players know it's coming. I think no matter what league you're in, you're going to have some congested time playing, so it's going to be a great opportunity. I think we will see Robert Taylor get some more minutes, and we have to go full strength. There's no way that we can just crash out an Open Cup, and I do think we should take it extremely serious for that match and try to get some guys going, try to get some balls in the back of the net, try to really kickstart something. But I really just can't. I don't want to see this team crash out. I think if there is a competition that we can really, really compete for, it is Open Cup. But looking at our form, it's kind of scary. You know what I mean?
Alex, any thoughts?
No, my only thoughts are that I know for sure they're going to put their strongest 11. My only concern is that their mental state as to if they can turn this around quickly.
Yeah.
When Stuver was asked about, hey, next game is already on Wednesday, it was like, I like this. I like this because this means we need to put this game behind and we can already work on the next one. So it's like it's a way for them to just pass the page quickly and work. And I think because they are hurt because of how last night went, they really, really do want to make a change. That being said, that does not mean they're going to fix the offensive problem. And you can defend, but for this game, you got to attack. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's a struggle that Austin FC has. So because El Paso is in USL does not mean at all that's going to be, an easy game or whatever. Yeah. So to me, this is a game that is highly important and is highly stressful because it's a real test for this team to know if they can actually score. Not just defend, not just, have possession. No. They need to score to actually go through. And this is one game chance. This is not a league. This is not a league when you can just lose and you're still top 5 on the table. No, this game actually matters a lot.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It could be a turning point for Nico. It could either go up, we could win, or it could be your season's over already. Because it would be done. It would be out of US Open.
Bali,
and then we're not gonna win the MLS Cup, so we're done.
The Shield, you don't know.
The Shield.
The Shield. You don't know about the MLS Cup.
You see how good Vancouver is. You see how good Vancouver is.
I know
it would be done.
I know we're not winning the Shield.
Done.
I know we're not winning the Shield, but don't count us out the MLS Cup.
If we lose Wednesday. Boom.
Don't count Austin. Don't count Austin out of the MLS Cup, mate. Because all you gotta do.
Don't count us out of the MLS Cup.
Don't count us out of the MLS Cup. Can I tell you why?
How are we gonna win?
We just gotta make it to the playoffs. We haven't played our best football. We haven't peaked yet. There's teams that are peaking right now. This is the worst moment to peak at, brother. This is the worst moment to have your best football. Why? Because we still got enough soccer to last us until October, bro. October. You know what? In August, September, then we can start freaking out, mate. I'm not freaking out. I know, look, there's a lot of red flags going on in this team right now, but I'm not freaking out because I know that there's still football left all the way until October. And Austin FC still has that in their back pocket in the sense that they've had positive performances in the 11 weeks that we've played where they're hanging on by a thread maybe, but they're still in a playoff position, right? Mm-hmm. If they can find their best form, if they can finally get things going, guess what? They have a head start where they're already in a playoff cushion spot. They need to just get things clicking. And I know I'm sounding like maybe a broken record by now, right? Because I'm still waiting for these goals. But I have trust. I have optimism that these guys are going to find the back of the net sooner or later, mate. It's just too early for me to write everything off.
No, we won't.
This is a project, mate.
We won't play any better with Nico in the wheel.
You don't know that.
We won't. And we won't. And let me break your heart and tell you, we won't.
You're not breaking my heart. My heart was broken already, bro.
We won't win anything with Nico. We won't. I want to be a champion. I want to win trophies.
Okay.
And Nico won't take us there.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm telling you the truth. We can waste a year, 2 years.
I've also heard you tell me lies.
We can waste it.
I've also heard you tell me lies.
We can waste it. We can waste another year. But I'm telling you, I want to be a champion. You want to be a champion, right?
Of course.
You want to win trophies. We all want to win trophies. We want to be
100%.
champions. Nico will not take us there, Hernan. That is the truth, and that is the fact. That is the truth, and that's the fact.
Look, the players have to put their grain of sand as well.
Year, and then second year, hopefully, he'll improve the team. And that's it. And then his contract's over, and then we'll go searching for another coach.
We'll put a bookmark on it, and we can come back to this topic
I'll put
in
a
August.
bookmark on it.
In September. As of right now, it's too early to freak out.
I promise you that we will not win the MLS Cup, bro. We are not good enough. Nico will not take us there. He's not the guy.
I'm not gonna put the final nail in that coffin. I cannot put a final nail in that casket.
I'll put anything on it. I promise.
It just doesn't make sense this early in the season.
Okay, I'm promising you. I'm telling you.
Now, gentlemen, if we can just get a score prediction for the Open Cup game that's coming up, Austin against El Paso Locomotive. Bali, since you're fired up, I'll get your score prediction first.
I want 3-0. I want 2-0. I want to see Brandon. I want to see Osuni. But I honestly feel like we could win 1-0.
You want to see CJ? I feel like he had a positive shift.
I don't want to see CJ. Honestly, I don't want to see CJ. I'm good. I don't want to see
He had
CJ.
a positive shift?
I think Austin FC is a perfect fit for him.
Austin FC
I'll be
too.
honest. Austin FC too. I think that's a perfect fit for him, honestly.
He just got a contract extension.
I think that's a perfect fit for him.
He just got a contract extension.
Get down there, get to going, get better.
He had a header. He had a header against Minnesota that was nearly going into the back of the net.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't want to see him start on Wednesday. Honestly, I want to see Taylor. I honestly do, but I want to see a 2-0, 3-0.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. I'm saying 3-0.
Score prediction, Logan, for the Open Cup coming up?
Yeah, I agree. I want to see that too, but I definitely think it's kind of like Alex is saying, like if they can find a way to exactly just be more offensive than us, or if the offense still isn't clicking for us, for even though regardless if it's a USL side, I mean, I think they will get one past us. Do we think Stuver's going to start, or is that a question?
No,
Right,
Cleveland
okay.
Cleveland
So I would like to think maybe we can.
But that's been part of the plan, though. That's what I said earlier. Like, it's not because of Stuver messed up.
Of course,
Like,
but
it's
that's
part
what
of the
I'm
plan.
asking. So yeah, but I would like to see us get a clean sheet. I think they are going to give us some work. So I mean, I would say 2-1 for my prediction. But
1-0,
I think it's not going to be easy for us. That's what I'm saying. Like we're going to really be, going band for band.
We're gonna go for.
We might score in the second half. They're gonna be coming. We're gonna be just all over the place.
Like we just
defending.
Now, by the way, El Paso is in 6th place in the Western Conference of the USL right now. They beat New Mexico, who is in 2nd place, just behind San Antonio. So San Antonio, top team in the USL. They're in 1st place. So El Paso's they're no Violet.
And
they're no slouch.
This is the Champions League right here. This is their game that they want to. Let's give it to Austin.
That's the thing, bro.
They're coming for our heads.
El Paso smells blood in the water, man.
Yeah.
They do.
And they're going to come at Austin FC with 110%, bro. It's like when Real Madrid plays against Valladolid, Mallorca. They come at you with everything. It's like in the EPL when Arsenal plays against somebody in the Championship and the FA Cup. Yeah. They come at you because they want to beat you. Why? Because if they do, it makes headlines and it makes people look at their careers and maybe they can make it out of the USL. That's the mindset that these teams are going into the Open Cup, which is why we need to save the Open Cup, because it's the beauty of football. But I'm hoping Austin doesn't have this soft mindset that a lot of people are complaining about. They really need to attack this game and say, hey, I'm wounded, but I patched myself up. You maybe smell blood in the water, but I got one of those guns that fishermen use to shoot the fishes in the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Harpoon.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got you.
Austin has a chance to really make things right. But if they crash out, mate, score prediction, B.
A 2-0. I see a 2-0. I mean, even that sounds not enough. Like we need a show. We need something.
I feel like you don't even believe yourself.
Yeah.
You know
Where's
what I'm saying?
Primo? 7-0.
Where's Primo with the truck? Alex, score prediction for this game coming up. Big match.
1-0.
Yeah, I mean, my wish would be a 3-0, but I think it's gonna be. It depends on the attitude that they come out with, but I think it's gonna be like a 1-0 again, because of the offense. It's on us. It's not that much on El Paso. It's on us. If Cleveland starts, honestly, I would be leaning more towards a 2-1 and more toward the wishing side of things, because I feel with Cleveland starts, it's gonna be easier for them to score.
What if it's like a 4-3? Austin wins.
That would be amazing.
4-3. Is it?
No, 4-3.
4-3. Austin wins.
No.
Austin wins, but it's a 4-3.
Nah.
Where what would happen?
It depends on how we scored those 4 goals.
Okay. Fair.
Very true.
All right, gentlemen. Now, before we get into some other topics, I just want to touch up on an interview that came out with Jhohan Romaña with El Clank Media. Now, it was a very, very good conversation. It was very wholesome. I learned some things about Romaña that I didn't know about him. I mean, he was homeless for a little bit. He was a goalkeeper. His mom told him not to be a goalkeeper. So many things that were revealed in this conversation with Clank Media and Jhohan Romaña with Juan Pablo Vázquez, who, by the way, has had some huge people on his show. He's had Messi on there. He's had an insane amount of guests that are really top-notch. And to have Jhohan Romaña there, it's awesome to hear him speak. But when he started talking about Austin FC is when I really zoned in. And a quote here that we had from his conversation with Clank Media, he says, "I had a really good 2021 in MLS. 2022, though, was very tough for me because I had a stomach bacteria that kept me from playing in many matches." He also says, "That bacteria didn't let me function properly. I started feeling really weak. I was vomiting a lot before and even during practice." He also says that he had some tension with Josh Wolf because Josh Wolf thought that Jhohan Romaña did not want to play. He also continues on to say, "It was incredibly frustrating because I knew something was wrong, but the coach would say, 'You look fine. If you're fine, why don't you play?'" Romaña says that was very, very tough on him, a very tough time on his life because he understood Josh Wolf, but he felt like Josh Wolf didn't understand him. And he says that they clashed because of that, and it was his decision to go. And he mentions how he was on the bench, and the coach knew that he could only play 15 to 20 minutes, and that affected him. And it was a very traumatic time for Jhohan Romaña. But Logan, thoughts on what Jhohan had to say in this interview? I mean, it was very powerful, and a lot of Austin FC fans went to the comments, and I don't know if they felt bad for the way that they treated this guy when he was here, because people didn't know he was going through this, and I feel like this shines light on a big part of his career with Austin, and now I feel like a lot of Austin FC fans maybe feel bad by the way that they treated him. What do you think?
Yeah, it was interesting to get his perspective, right? Hear his side of the story. Because, like you said, I didn't, have any kind of prior knowledge of that. I didn't know. I know that the conversation around him leaving was that, maybe some of his condition or his fitness. But, yeah, I mean, it was interesting to hear him kind of explain. And even for him to hear him say that it was, traumatic. I mean, obviously, not being able to play more than 20 minutes, the way that he describes it, I mean, I could definitely see. But, I mean, we do have a doctor in the house. I'm not familiar with the virus that he had. Or what did you say it was?
He had a Helicobacter pylori.
Okay. I don't know what that does, but apparently it sounds pretty bad. So
he said he got it from salads. If that really
was the case, and if that really was the case, then, we do get to see kind of the other side, maybe behind closed doors. Like if there really was that communication issue where, maybe Joshua just wasn't understanding where he was coming from, so I could see how it was hard. But yeah, that interview was very interesting.
Bali, any thoughts on what Jhohan had to say?
Man, I really don't want to be rude, but this is what I believe. What I believe, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I think he's a liar. I feel like, to me, Josh Wolf said it to us clearly. He wasn't fit. He wasn't fit, and so now he's doing great where he's at in Argentina, and I'm big ups to him. The bacteria isn't in him anymore. I don't know, did he take treatment? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that was part of the conversation.
And he also said something about maybe the food here in the U.S. Maybe that
very processed.
The food. A lot of players eat the same food that you eat, and so
everybody has their own microorganisms.
It is what it is, I hope I'm wrong because lying about your health and all, lying about getting bacteria, it's very serious. You shouldn't lie about that, So I hope that I'm wrong, but I just wish him, now that he's doing great, I really just wish him well, and he's honestly he's a great guy. Let's not take away. You can tell you would always pray before the game.
If he's a great guy, why would he lie about something like this?
But to me, Joshua told us that he wasn't fit. He came back, wasn't fit, couldn't play. So that's what I'm looking at it.
You spent 4 years criticizing Josh Wolf, and you want to take his word now?
Well, he's there with the players, training with the player. He should know if someone's fit or not, right?
Okay, let's hear from the doctor in the
I
house.
really want to know what the doctor, because how does this bacteria leave your body? Do you take treatment for it?
He said it was part of the
treatment?
treatment. He said that the whole of the process was going through the treatment, and he also said that there was games where they couldn't play him because they were scared that he was going to get caught up with some dope, with a doping issue. Alex,
the requirement, the regulation.
I really want to hear what the doctor had to say, because I want to know more.
That came out super bad.
I want to know more.
Clipping that.
Clip down, please don't, Alex.
So the only part of the story that kind of was weird to me is that he said that the medical staff here took a little while to identify the bacteria. That, I mean, because it is a pretty common bacteria and it's easy to get it in the food. Could be here, could be whenever he went to Colombia. So it's pretty common, and whenever you have a chronic digestive problem, particularly in the stomach, it's one of the first things you think about. So the fact that it took them a while to identify what it was is the only thing that has me like, but why? You know, Austin, you know, especially with St. David's, you know, they should have, you know, top trained medical staff. So, however, after identifying that, it is true that he has to take a lot of medicines to get rid of that bacteria, because that bacteria is not easy to get rid of. And I understand, because you have to take like 4 different types of pills for weeks for you to be able to get rid of that. And that would allow you to not have get your nutrients right. So for a high performance person like a soccer player, it is important, right?
Yeah.
And also, like you said, you know, why would Josh Wolf lie about it? I mean, we know Josh wasn't the most communicative with the media. And, you know, it's weird for him not to mention that he was sick. But also, Josh has a record of also throwing players under the bus. So, if anything, I would see more likely Josh not mentioning this. And it's kind of tough to see, but like you not believing that your player is telling you that you're sick, it's kind of it's hard. But I guess I see that more likely than Romaña trying to fake an illness for so many months, keeping him out of play, essentially when he's not feeling like he's being put to good use and in a place where he's not wanted. Like he left Austin and he's being happy and playing amazingly. So why wouldn't have wanted that here?
Yeah, and I also feel like, but I also feel like Josh was upset because he would look at his medical staff, and his medical staff were like, he doesn't have anything, you know. So that's why I feel like Josh was upset. You know, like my medical staff telling me that you're okay, and you're telling me that you're not okay. Yeah, so what's going on? Yeah. You know. Yeah. So you can't just No,
yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, and that's why Jhohan says he said I understood him, but he didn't understand me. Right, like, and that's something that they touch up on. You know, you feel like something's wrong with you, but the coach doesn't believe you, and it might not be coming from a negative point, from a negative place, but it's just a very
you're talking about one of the best medical staffs here and maybe in the world.
They won an award. They won an award.
One of the best doctors. The U.S. has some of the best doctors in the world. No. You know, this isn't the medical staff over there in Olympia, over there in San Lorenzo. You're talking about the U.S. Okay, so come on now. Let's be real. Let's be realistic now.
I see what you're saying.
Let's be real.
Now, Bali, some other news here. Verde Pitch Alliance. It was a group formed between the Soccer Assist, Austin Parks, Street Soccer USA, Austin FC, and 4ATX Foundation. They're pretty much investing a minimum of $2 million into the city of Austin to build pitches around Austin so kids can have more access to soccer and football in general, right? We see the ones that they did at Woodridge, which we know it stays packed. They've done some all over Austin as well. But here's another $2 million that they're going to put up to have more access to soccer for local kids. I mean, big ups to them. I love it. I love it, honestly.
I love that, honestly. Yeah. You know, getting the youth, together, I feel like that's amazing for Austin and for the club.
Exactly, mate. And also, there was the news about the new grass at Q2 Stadium. It's from Alabama, from Oklahoma, but new head groundskeeper Luke Bentley says that they already changed it. It's already 100% done. The new surface is Seashore Paspalum grass. It's been installed already, like we said, and the first game was against Minnesota. So new grass, new surface at Q2. Logan, why are you laughing?
Yeah, I mean, look what happened. We lost. So what do you think?
Okay. We just blame the grass, man. We just blame
funny.
the
grass. I think it's a little funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
We learned a lot about grass, though. You know what I mean? But the Pitch Alliance, man, shout out to what they're doing. That's amazing. Like, not only just, making it more accessible. I mean, soccer's not really a sport that you think of like just every single, like I feel like basketball courts, everything's more available. So making soccer pitches takes a lot more, but seeing that they're investing in the community, that's amazing.
What would be even more impressive to me, if you can add maybe another $500,000, I know it's a lot of money, but if you can add maybe another 300,000 or 400,000, but what would be more impressive to me than to be building pitches is if you put lights so that you kids can continue. Well, I mean, if they're kids, they gotta go home. But how many times have you played somewhere and when it gets dark at 6, you're like, man, I wish that these lights stayed on or whatnot. Or wish that we had lights. So if they could add a little bit more into the budget for lights around these fields, that'd be great. I'd really like that. Alex.
Something interesting that I learned a lot about grass that day. But something interesting is that being a coach is hard, man. I mean, they do so many stuff that we don't even realize. Because they told us that Nico actually has to talk to this groundkeeper manager, right? About how much the field should be watered. Because if it's too much, the ball may go faster or slower or bounce more. If it's too little, it's not enough for your team to. So Nico has to take care of the team, the tactics, the psychological side of things, the players, everything. And also think about the grass, about how much they have to water it before a game. I mean, that's just something that blew my mind.
It is pretty cool, and it is something that goes into the game. A little bit of details, right? A little bit stuff like that. And Austin has one of the most beautiful pitches in the Western Hemisphere and the North American continent. I mean, that's why so many teams want to come here and have friendlies or whatnot. So it doesn't surprise me that this was kind of viral news. A lot of people really took interest in this new grass update because Q2 is a very famous stadium. And maybe some folks were making a joke about it or whatnot, but I thought this was pretty important to be changing the whole surface of the stadium. It was pretty big because Copa Oro is coming this way, and Copa America was here last year. I mean, this is an important place for international football.
And if I'm not mistaken, they're not changing it, right? It's the same as before. Yeah, so they're just kind of, updating it. So if people are like, oh, it's different grass, that's the problem.
I think what it is what Luke Bentley explained is that it does better in the shade, I think.
No, it needs sunlight.
Oh, it needs, okay.
Yeah,
actually, the kind of like the corner close to the supporter section, it gets a lot of shade, and that's a challenge.
It's hurting it.
It's hurting it.
Okay. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So they're just making stuff harder for themselves. Wow.
Oh my God.
Here you go. Just making stuff harder for everybody.
All right,
Loving
gentlemen.
it.
Now, I feel like we've reached the end of the Austin FC segment for sure. I know a lot of conversation was into here. FCito, they won in PKs, their match. New goalkeeper Charlie Farah comes up big. Michael Burton gets the winning PK. Peter Grogan got a red card in that game. I don't know what was going through the lad's mind. A little bit of an elbow there. But shout out to the Academy boys for doing their thing. And now, gentlemen, I do want to mention the fact that Bayern Munich got their first trophy with Harry Kane.
Harry!
Massive news for him. And of course, we got a little bit of European topics to get into, but getting into the Bayern topic real quick. Shout out to my G, Brad, on the Discord. I know he's going to be happy or whatnot, but I guess the curse is lifted. Harry Kane is a champion with Bayern Munich. Bali, any thoughts on that bit of news there?
I mean, it was going to happen eventually. I mean, just to look at the league, Bayern, it's always Bayern winning it. So, I mean, congrats, he's been playing at Tottenham. He won't win anything there. So he finally had his dream come true.
Hey, Tottenham are a game away from a final.
Yeah.
In
but
the
I mean,
Europa
they won't win it.
They're pretty much through. They won 3-0.
Yeah, but they won't win it. So yeah, I'm happy for him actually. Whenever somebody wins,
they got united in the final.
Whenever somebody wins and wins trophies, I'm happy for them. It puts a smile on my face.
Fair.
It's a trophy, it's a chip. Bro.
Hopefully, we Austin FC wins one soon.
Alex, thoughts on Harry Kane winning a trophy with Bayern Munich? It's big, it's massive, it's news. You're happy for the lad. You're happy for Bayern Munich fans because they complain about Real Madrid fans having it so easy in their league. Mate, it's you and 20 other teams. Come on, Bayern fans.
That is true.
Thoughts, Alex?
I just find it hilarious because you say that, but Harry Kane, this is his second season at Bayern. Last year, he didn't win anything with Bayern. And then this season, I mean, it was hilarious because they could have won it yesterday. And they did it because they were losing 2-0, then tied, and they were winning 3-2. Then Harry Kane, who wasn't playing, came down from the stands right onto the pitch, right to celebrate. And then they get tied in the 90th minute.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I saw that.
So Harry Kane's just, getting ready to celebrate his first trophy ever. And he's denied and has to wait one extra day for the results of others to see if he's finally a champion.
It's poetry, brother. It's poetry. No, you're just happy for the lad, I guess. At the end of the day, I mean, this is one of the best forwards of the modern era, and he's so criticized by so many people. But if Harry Kane went to your team, you would be happy. Yes or no? If Harry Kane went to Chelsea tomorrow,
1,000%.
But why is he so criticized?
Because
is he the English Chicharito?
Yes. No, well, actually, no. He's loved too, bro.
Nah,
I mean, he's
a lot of
criticized
people
right
love him,
now.
bro.
But
A lot of people love him.
Chicha is on another level.
Chicharo's not loved?
No, he was hated.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Bro,
Harry Kane the
that's
English
what bothers
Chicharo?
me, bro.
But
Old heads, I always talk to old heads about the three. I hate Chicharito. No one gives him his props, bro, for his numbers. But anything, back on Kane. Let's say Tottenham go on, and I'm going forward here. Let's say Tottenham go on and win the Europa. Let's say at the end of the season, would he, if you think about it, because he left Tottenham to finally win a trophy, bro. Yeah. Would he not rather win the Europa with Tottenham than win the Bundesliga with Bayern?
I mean, 100%, but that's his decision that he made. So he has to live with it.
And Bayern put up the cash. They won.
Yeah.
So
Bayern also made an investment to try to win the Champions League with this guy. They didn't, and he has to settle for that.
They didn't.
They're in the Club World Cup, aren't they? Let me bring
yeah, they are.
They are. Are
Bayern? Yeah, Bayern's in there.
I forget if their logo has been in the group stages.
Davies went down too.
There's a lot of Germans here in the U.S. It's going to be packed.
No, but big ups to the Bayern fans on the Discord, especially, and everybody out there that pays attention to Austin FC. A lot of Bayern fans in Austin, Texas. But I want to move on to Chelsea, who today
they are
not
Bayern
only they are in the Club World Cup.
Group C.
Group C with
Boca, Benfica, and
Benfica. What a group!
And
Boca's going to get
probably from Saudi. Or from Qatar. But no, guys, real quick, let's talk about Chelsea, who defeated Liverpool 3-1 today. Not only did they give them a guard of honor, but they gave them a spanking on the way back home. 3-1 with pretty much, I guess, a solid performance by the Blues. You had goals from Enzo Fernandez very early, and you had an own goal from Liverpool, and then Cole Palmer seals the deal with minute 96 penalty. I wouldn't say that Cole Palmer is back, but he's back at doing what he does best, scoring PKs. Virgil van Dijk got one back for the Reds, for the champions, at minute 85. But at the end of the day, how much importance did this game have for Liverpool, Bali?
Useless game.
They're already champs.
They're already champions. They didn't care about the game. And Chelsea just let Chelsea do whatever. Just go ahead and just do whatever you want. Of course, Chelsea fans are going to be like, oh my God, we beat the champions. Like, of course, the guy right here.
Nah, what did I say?
You're saying you're happy because you beat the champions, and you're happy because you
Chelsea's still playing for something, though.
So,
playing for what?
I'm not gonna listen, we're in a dog fight right now, bro. Just like you said when Arsenal was in this position, this is war. This war. Yeah. That's what we're in right now. We're in a dog fight. And last night I was telling the guys, we were chilling last night with Primo. I was like, tomorrow's game is this season comes down. Like, if we don't get a result at Liverpool, our top flight, our Champions League chances take a massive hit. Because we have the hardest. If you look at the schedule, we have the hardest run, and we play Forest, United, Newcastle left. Newcastle are in the same dogfight as us. Yeah. So is Forest, bro. And we got United. So this game was a must-win, and we got it done. You could see it on the pitch that
Newcastle tied. Newcastle tied.
Thanks to
Forest
I think next year the Champions League is 5 spots, so it's top 5.
Even bro, that's the thing. Even with the 5th spot, look at the table, bro.
It's tight. It's really tight. It's tight.
Current standings.
You got it though.
Obviously, Liverpool champs, Arsenal 2nd place, Man City 3rd.
I'm done with that.
So Man City has 64 points. Newcastle in 4th with 63. Tied in 5th, Chelsea with 63, and then Nottingham Forest in that 6th place position with 60 points.
But they got a game in hand.
Oh, okay, game in hand. Thank you. So really, Newcastle and Chelsea, Nottingham, just like B said, really duking it out. Alex, I mean, how do you think this is going to end up?
With the Premier League, it's always hard to say, honestly, because that top 5, top 6 usually is pretty tight.
Should it be top 6 for them that go into the Champions League?
No. Yes, that's how they had it set up. Last year it was Germany who got the 5th spot because of how well.
But 5th, that's 5th. But I'm saying, should there be 6 from the EPL that goes to the Champions League?
Of course.
Honestly, I think it should stay at 4. I don't even know why they put 5.
But you know what does surprise me? That in this worst Manchester City in years that we've seen, they're still up there.
Yeah,
they are still fighting. Just like how that narrative of the worst Madrid is still 2nd in La Liga. The worst Man City is still up there.
The worst Man City's fighting for Champions League, bro. Yeah. So you could say that now, but there could be a scenario where they crash out.
And they've won 4 games in a row. Yeah, and let's also note that Pep Guardiola said that after his time with City is done, that he's taking a break. So what's next for this City side? Right? What's next for them?
Didn't he renew? He's got 2 more seasons.
2027 is done.
Well, but he said after his time with City is over, that he's taking a break.
So 2 more years.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying, what's after this era for City? Because are they still going to be this team that has been controlling EPL, or after Pep, are they going to fall to this team where they are now 3, 4, 5, maybe falls to fighting for 6th? Because City this season, just like you said, Alex, one of the worst ones. But is this the new reality for them?
Nah, they'll go for somebody big. They
got the resources to do it.
Who's bigger than Pep?
I wouldn't
Who's
doubt
bigger
it
than Pep?
if they go get your boy Ancelotti.
I was about to say that.
They go get Ancelotti. That would be good. That would be nice. I feel like he would do good too.
Ancelotti would kill City,
I think he would do good, honestly, too. So we don't know. Yeah, City got money, bro. They don't play around.
Ownership.
Luis Enrique. They go get Luis Enrique. Come on.
Imagine that first game, City, coached by Ancelotti, going to Everton. Well, now I don't know. Maybe or whatnot. But
go to the bottom of the league. Go to the bottom of the table, B.
Oh my God, you're about to get shocked. Look at this.
Look, if the bottom 3 teams weren't so bad,
I saw that,
bro.
story.
This would be United could be relegated. Tottenham would be in relegation like trouble. But the bottom teams are so bad that they're not even worried. But look at that bottom league. Look how embarrassing that is.
Tottenham being 16 is wild.
Bro, imagine. I believe Tottenham being there.
Wild, bro.
That is wild. That's not wild.
That's wild.
United in 15th is insane.
That's also wild.
That's the craziest thing this year for me, bro.
Look, if those bottom teams had just picked up some form, this would be a dogfight right here.
Now,
people would be dying. People would be dying for real in England.
Honestly, yeah.
People would be dying. Honestly, there'll be bodies being.
To close the page on Europe, I want to open up the page for Liga MX. There was some comments from Salomón Rondón, forward of Pachuca, Venezuelan superstar, where he says, El Tricampeonato, the 3 championship, is very stained. Very stained. Salomón Rondón calling out America's 3 championships, saying that the 3-peat is very stained. Está manchado el Tricampeonato. Some little bit of beef brewing there. The Pachuca stuff is getting into the media. It's a whole narrative now. I feel like it's bleeding into the players now. These teams don't like each other. Alex, Rondón, the words that he chose, very, very critical.
I agree, and I've said it here in this spot. I'm not a Liga MX fan, and whenever I did watch it because of Rondón or because of some games that y'all were watching, and I saw America play, from a completely objective, unbiased opinion, because I don't really root for anyone. I told you that America games looked so sketchy. There was always something that looked so bad that as someone that has nothing to do with Liga MX, you would say this is ridiculous. So I gotta agree with Rondón.
Now, the headline on Pasión Fútbol says, America in the controversy. We'll get B's take. Salomón Rondón accuses the 3-time championship of being tainted, stained.
Hey, those are strong words.
Those are strong words.
Those are strong statements. He also played against them too. So
bro, he's probably going to see them soon.
Yeah. So these are strong words. B, I want to hear B.
Rondón is all you. Rondón is every fan. I mean, this is what? What am I supposed to be shocked? Oh, they're calling out America for this and that. Of course, bro. It comes with it. Everyone is going to say this. Like, what are you? Oh, my God, I can't believe you're saying this about my club. It's all y'all say every time.
All
bro.
Y'all?
Yes, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Alex. I'm looking at Bobby.
I'll keep it real.
I'll let you finish. It is what it is. But look, I mean, look, obviously Alex is Venezuelan, so is Rondón. He's biased as hell. He hates America. So take his takes with that. He absolutely hates America with everything. I could see it in his face, his passion towards the hate.
I
could see it. I could see it.
That's crazy.
I could see it, bro. I could see it.
No,
so
you see,
take that take how you want. The point is, 3 campeonatos in a row. We're on our way to a 4th. We got Pachuca. I mean, as a fan, I can tell you right now, Pachuca always seems to get the best of us, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Pachuca is that opponent that I'm like, damn, this could go. So I'm ready to make it right on the pitch, man.
Now, real quick, Rondón specifically pointed out the match between Pachuca and América at the Estadio Azteca, where a wrongfully officiated play significantly altered the course of the encounter. Quote,
Wow.
it was a clear throw-in for us, but they called it in favor of América. Obviously, América sells more, stated the Tuzos forward, visibly frustrated by the incident. He says, without that play, we wouldn't be talking about América as the 3-time champions. Alex.
You know why V says that I absolutely hate and despise America?
Why?
Because every single time we have an argument about it, he can't clap back. He's just quiet. And the only thing that comes out of his mouth is Tricampeones! Just like how H says 15.
Trophies, right? That's what matters. Trophies matter, don't
But
they?
are they stained? Are they stained?
No, bro.
Are they
A
tainted?
three-peat? No way, brother. There's no way. We're. Are you gonna be talking about? Oh, is the fourth stained? Like it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going. Doesn't matter.
Is it gonna keep going?
Nah. I'll be
Also another. Just in case you're listening, Hernan is a Chivas fan, which is also the rivals of America. So take how you want it as well.
Mate,
So,
I've conceded this. I've conceded this.
Look.
argument. I've conceded, mate. I know.
Y'all can check. I remember clearly a pod last year. First, I don't even remember if Rondón was already at Pachuca, and it wasn't America versus Pachuca. It was a completely random America game that I watched, and I had that take already last year. I had already said that America always has something sketchy going for them in Liga MX, especially in Liguilla. Doesn't always have to be the final, could be the semifinal, but they always have something. And this is for like because
you're not saying that
because
about
because
Cruz Azul who won with a penalty. Like you're not saying that about any. It's just America, bro. It's just America.
Again, you're saying like I'm biased because I'm supporting Rondón. No, I already had this take before Rondón was even part of the picture in Pachuca.
Now, amidst the first controversy, America and Pachuca are set to clash once again in the Liguilla this Wednesday, May 7th, in a match that promises tension, intensity, and a fierce rivalry, as you can see on the Top Flight Pod. I mean, imagine how it's going to be on the pitch after what Rondón just said.
That's going to be a good one. So it's going to be America against Pachuca?
Yeah. Monterrey play Pumas, I think, tonight to see who Toluca plays.
The play or whatever they call it. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a war.
Honestly, I mean, America is, they are winning, I guess.
Pachuca always seems to get the best of us, too. Pachuca is like our just like, God damn.
But America does have a good team, though, man. They have good players, They do shop around and they shop well.
We're America.
They really do shop well.
Why do you think the logo has all of America? Not
They shop better. They honestly
it has
shop
South
way
as well.
They shop
the
way better than
America.
Chivas, bro. I mean, Chivas.
Well, Chivas has a policy that we have to follow.
Of course, but you can still shop well.
Now, real quick, talking about Chivas, there is a group of investors that have sent a formal bid to Amaury Vergara, the son of Jorge Vergara, who passed away years ago, the owner of Chivas right now, that they want to buy the club.
Saudi or from where?
I don't know from where, but I don't think it was Saudi. It wasn't like
Saudi.
Ooh, that'd be crazy. But no. I think and the message that was sent in with this bid was that they want to return Chivas to the places that it deserves to be at.
It's probably Chinese, maybe.
I don't know. Mexico does have a lot of Chinese investors, bro.
Honestly, y'all need it, man.
So
Y'all are
many.
dead, bro.
I don't want to see Chivas. Chivas is like the Man United for me right now. Man United was being pursued by the Saudi crown. They wanted to buy the biggest brand in the world football. But England couldn't do that. That's a transfer of power almost, mate, because it's the biggest brand in the world of football. It's English. You cannot give it to maybe the Saudi crown to control it or whatnot. And I see Chivas the same way. I think that they're a huge chess piece for Mexican footy. The way that you view Mexican footy is your own view or whatnot. But I feel like Chivas has to be owned by somebody in Mexico. So I'm hoping that this group is somebody based in Mexico that has the values that Chivas has been carrying. And maybe it's not feasible or it's impossible to keep the same structure of business that Chivas has had the past couple of years. And if they change it, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with change. Chivas needs it. But if they could keep some of the values, I'd be happy with it. I'd hate to see foreign investment come in and completely change Chivas 100%.
But y'all need that, though. Y'all need that. I mean, y'all are way behind.
Careful what you wish for, though.
Y'all are way behind.
Careful
man.
what you wish for. What if they get changed and it makes it worse?
You wouldn't love seeing Sergio Ramos in a Chivas jersey?
I mean,
that
sure.
was supposed to be Sergio Ramos in Chivas. That's not. He's not supposed to be in Monterrey.
I just want to see
He's gonna be
Chivas
with the
good.
top
I just want to see them good. I want to see them return to bringing guys like Chicharito up from the academy, bringing guys like Ramoncito Morales, bringing guys like Venado. I mean, remember when Chivas was at the pinnacle, bro? They were really bringing up guys. They've always had really good youth teams. Their youth team wins a lot, but you never see them come up, bro. It's just like Mexico's youth teams. They win a lot, but you never see them make the transitions to the first teams because their Chivas doesn't develop these guys well. And as soon as they see that somebody is good, to Cruz Azul, to Toluca, to Pachuca, they sell their youth right away because they're a money-hungry club. And you know what? You're right. Maybe they need this. Maybe they need this.
I would love to see somebody from Europe go.
But
to
Ozzy
Chivas.
also made this good point. He said Chivas, the ownership can never sell it because they probably have so many people from their family working for the club, and it would just be a transfer of wealth, of power that they might not want to do.
Yeah.
It's different. When you own a club, it's different. But gentlemen, anything else you'd like to add onto the pod, Alex? Any other topics? Logan? Popovich?
I mean, I'm good. Nah, yeah, shout out Pop, man.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
legendary, legend.
He's, even though I don't like the Spurs, but he's a legend, though.
Nah,
he's a legend.
Overdue.
He's a legend.
Overdue.
Yeah, he was. He
Yeah,
hasn't
on
been the
some
same
Arthur
since.
Wenger
You know,
type.
Overdue.
On
Yeah.
some, yeah.
What he
Bro.
gave to the game of basketball was
yeah,
incredible.
sports in
He's a
general for
legend.
sure.
He's a GOAT. He's a
Yeah,
GOAT.
yeah.
He's a GOAT for sure.
Yeah, yeah. He's well respected too. You know, when you get the players, I never heard a player say nothing bad about
I've
him.
heard of a lot of soccer coaches reference Popovich's books and like some of
Yeah.
the stuff that he's
Yeah,
that he's put out.
generational coach for sure.
I mean, he's gave us Tim Duncan.
At least he got promoted too. He got
Ginobili.
promoted within the
5
club.
chips.
But he's a president now, so he's not
Yeah,
going anywhere.
exactly. That's what I mean.
He's still going to be around.
He got promoted.
Okay,
You know, it's
so
not
he's
like he just
staying
full
in
out
the
Yeah,
retiring.
he's still going to be around.
Yeah,
I
that
feel-
was bound to happen too. You want a mind like that, part of your organization,
course,
as long as
man,
you know,
of
as long
course,
as you
of course.
can.
I mean, he's been there for 20 plus years, though.
He's also
Yeah,
having
I
some
mean-
health problems, wasn't he? I mean,
Yeah, he did recently have a
That's
stroke.
actually the
Yeah,
reason.
he just recently lost his wife too. That was real sad too.
Yeah,
You know,
bro.
so it's a lot. But
Yeah,
you know,
man.
obviously that's what. Man, that's what Pop's here to do. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what he's one of them that's like, I'm gonna do this till, you know, I can't no more. So
5 rings, B? 5 championships? B used to be a big Spurs fan, but he bailed on him.
I did that right. I watched halfway of the first season of DeMar DeRozan.
And then you
And
turned
then
into
I
a
just-
LeBron fan.
it was a
What? No, I just stopped watching the NBA altogether.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was. I
Same,
mean,
yeah.
I would go for Christmas Day to watch the Spurs play. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
NBA is a tough watch until they get to the playoffs. Once
yeah.
they get, which the playoffs are right now.
They've been trying to mess with that. This in-season tournament. This
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah,
They're trying to.
there's
they're
a
trying to
lot
do
of stuff
something.
going on in that
Changing it
league
around.
too. Sure.
And now there's a lot of good teams, bro. Like it's not just
Yeah.
like
And the Lakers crashing out.
Yeah.
Hey, even with all
The
those
Thunder.
struggles, bro, even with all those struggles, still bigger than MLS in this country. Bro.
Oh, I mean,
MLS is growing though.
Yeah,
NBA
MLS is growing.
hitting a
MLS is
wall. I
growing.
feel
I'm
like.
not gonna lie, but baseball's up there. I don't know, but we're gonna surpass something big. Probably hockey.
Baseball has a lot of money in it,
Yeah,
bro.
baseball does have
That's
a
a
lot.
lot
of
Maybe
money.
hockey. We might
Look,
surpass
man,
hockey for sure.
We're
We
fighting
have the
hockey.
Club World Cup coming this year. We have the World Cup coming next year. I mean, it's
Yeah, World
we're
Cup
about
always
to
helps
happen.
too,
It's
you know what
about
I mean?
it's gonna grow
For sure,
regardless.
for
I feel
sure.
like. Yeah.
Rules
Yeah.
need to change in MLS for the better. More money needs to be spent.
For sure.
Less restrictions. Line up with the European calendar. You know, make it Open Cup important. The prize is $300,000 for
Yeah, I
Open
saw
Cup.
that.
Slap in the face. $300K.
Yeah, that's
and
nothing,
runner-ups
bro.
100K, I think, and then
That's like
every
somebody-
team that makes it past a certain round, it's like
And-
50K or
and
something.
How much you get paid just to participate in the Club World Cup? Like just to-
Mills.
It's it varies, but
Mills.
definitely
Bro,
mills.
they
like the
probably,
comparison, it's insane. Like you
Leagues
talk
Cup,
about
Leagues Cup pays
Bro,
more than
yeah.
Open Cup.
they probably spend that $300K on like hotels and flights for those freaking U.S. Open games.
So pretty much
You know?
based off of this money scale, it's clear. Leagues Cup is
Oh, I mean,
is
look,
they're-
number one.
I mean,
not that
course.
level
Number
one, but the organizations they're pushing Leagues Cup to be
yeah.
the competition.
you get what you like. Who's gonna tune in to watch El Paso versus Austin FC, and who's gonna tune in to
Austin
watch
fans.
America versus LAFC?
Mate, USL is getting
Come
better
on.
coverage.
yeah,
than
they're
MLS.
talking about
Those-
promotion relegation. They're getting their first division
Man,
league going.
stop hyping
and, you
his
know.
USL
Numbers,
stuff
numbers,
up.
no,
Hey,
and we're not
USL
hyping
drop
it.
that
We're not
USL
hyping it. It's
stuff.
actual
Drop
numbers.
that
But it's
USL
actual
stuff.
Good for
numbers.
MLS too.
Drop
You
that
know, it
USL.
helps.
If you want to be somebody USL, you come to the MLS, okay? That's what you have to do.
They're
Put up
at
the money
war.
and come
They're
to
at
the
war with
They're
the
at war.
MLS.
They're at
You know?
war.
And what
They're
they're
at war.
doing is
Stop
to-
it.
Yeah, that's more than
what they're doing to be even more annoying to the MLS is they're doing relegation promotion themselves. It's gonna be
Just to
USL,
piss 'em off.
USL 1,
Yeah.
just to piss them off, bro. USL 1,
Nah, I
USL
think-
2, and then
yeah.
I forgot the name of the third
Yeah,
tier.
keep doing that, and then when MLS, hey, you want to come up here? You want this money? Okay, yeah. They're gonna come like this, quick. They're gonna fold.
All right,
Stop all that USL talk.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we reached the end of the pod. Bit of a long one here. Lots that we discussed on this show. Hopefully, you stuck around to the very end there. If you haven't checked out the conversation with Alex, myself, and Marcelo Balboa, it's up on YouTube.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Marcelo was fantastic. Had to do a little bit of editing there. His dogs wanted to give a take as well, but we had to cut them out.
Okay.
What were their name? Marty and...
Marty.
I forgot their name, but they were cool. But anyways, we'll be back to recap the Locomotive match that will be midweek. Maybe we'll have something for you on Thursday or Friday, like a space for sure. But a pod setting, we'll be back to recap that game and also the Cincinnati away match that will take place Saturday, May 10th, El 10 de Mayo, Mother's Day. But anyways, be safe, have a good work week, and we will see you soon. Ciao.